Hello people. So, more big news in the world of Formula 1 has, taken place since my last video. And, it happened yesterday, but I couldn't be asked to make a video yesterday. But for this one I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I'll drive Old Silverstone while playing this, because I love Old Silverstone so much. So, yeah. Should be alright. Just doing my setup. But yes, Vettel announcing that he's going to leave Ferrari triggered quite a chaotic turn of events in the driver market. And there were a lot of predictions that were going around, who's going to go where as a result of this. In the end, the prediction was that Ricciardo would go to McLaren and Sainz would go to Ferrari, and that's what happened. Carlos Sainz and Daniel Ricciardo, yeah. Carlos is very happy, obviously, joining one of the most prestigious teams in Formula 1. I think Daniel was just happy to get out of Renault after what he's been through with the team. It was not the most pleasant experience last year for him, but still, I'm sure he's relieved that he's not with the team anymore. So yeah, most people's predictions came true. Sainz went to Ferrari, left McLaren, and Ricciardo took his place. And the question marks now are, who's going to take that Renault seat, and what will Vettel do? I guess those are the question marks. Yeah, I thought I'd discuss this while playing F1 Challenge with the 2007 mod. This is my setup pretty much that I've been using, and I like to go into here. Engine sound in this game are a bit broken, and I like to put the steering lock on full because, yeah, let's give 100 RPM there. I think we're good. Let's go. But yeah, I love Old Silverstone. Unfortunately, it's not in any Codemasters game, which is a bit annoying because, Old Silverstone is much nicer to drive than New Silverstone. But the racing on New Silverstone is better, I have to admit. But yeah. So, what a crazy week in the world of Formula 1. That Vettel announces he's going to retire. Not retire, but leave Ferrari. And Carlos Sainz, who 3 years ago was stuck in a Toro Rosso and didn't seem that there was a way out for him. Looked like he could fall risk to yet another Toro Rosso driver getting the axe, but he actually managed to get a good deal out of it. Moved to Renault and then moved to McLaren, and both of those stints lasted 1 year. So he's made a bit of a habit of this. Switching teams every year, it seems. Hopefully his Ferrari stint lasts a lot longer than 1 year. Although knowing Ferrari, that might backfire on him. I hope it doesn't, because he's a nice lad, Carlos. But yeah, he's gone from being stuck in Toro Rosso with no hope to, after one troublesome year in Renault, had a very solid year last year in the McLaren, scored his first podium in Formula 1, and was definitely the best midfield driver, I think, out of all the midfield drivers that year. He actually beat two drivers who had stints in the Red Bull, so fantastic from him to do that, and he's earned himself a Ferrari seat, so well done, Carlos. I hope it's going to be a very prosperous period of success for you there. I don't expect him to be anything other than Charles Leclerc's wingman, unfortunately, because well, I mean, that team is probably built firmly around Charles. Just built firmly around Charles, because, I mean, they've essentially kicked a 4 times world champion who's proven himself out of that team simply because Charles is in the other seat, and he's the young guy. He's the guy who's got the promise, the unfulfilled promise. Vettel is the veteran, one of the veterans of Formula One. He's had his time, and Ferrari feels that he's no longer the right choice, which I'm actually I want to know what went on behind closed doors that year, because, or rather the last couple of weeks, because it seems a bit sudden to me. Like, it was a few weeks ago they were like, oh yeah, we're discussing the contract with Seb, he'll stay with Ferrari and all that stuff, and it was looking like Vettel would have another stint in the Ferrari team. But then a couple of days ago, I think it was Monday, that's when the rumours started that Vettel was leaving Ferrari, and then it was made official the very next day. And I'd like to know what happened behind the scenes, because clearly there was a problem between Ferrari and Seb. Why would you kick a 4 times world champion out of the team? Bit of a strange decision there by Ferrari, but, well, they've replaced him with Carlos Sainz. I guess it's a safe decision. I think if that could have been, you know, quite a problematic occurrence for Ferrari if they had Vettel and Leclerc there for another couple of seasons. 2019 was already a bit of a pain for them to handle. Seb and Charles clashed quite a few times on track. We had the Brazil incident where they collided and both of them retired after that, and then we had Monza where Charles didn't give Seb the toe even though he was supposed to. We had Singapore, I think it was Singapore, I can't remember. No, it was Russia, when the two agreed a deal which Vettel failed to keep his end of the deal. So it was a bit rocky last season from the pair, but they insist that it was all good. But this decision, I mean, I'm not surprised by the decision that has unfolded over the last, well, unfolded on Monday, because I said in a previous video, like, as soon as Vettel was beaten by Leclerc last season, I didn't see a point in Vettel continuing, because I'd expect Vettel to be beaten again by Charles, and Vettel doesn't want to be a number 2 driver. That's not how he operates. That's not in his desire to do that. So Vettel and Ferrari decided to, you know, announce their departure, and Carlos replaces Seb and leaves the McLaren team. As I said, I'm happy for Carlos. I'm okay with him being there. I mean, I had a few other preferences on my mind, but when I've thought about it, I do think that this was a good outcome. You know, Charles seems very happy to be in the Ferrari team, following the footsteps of his idol Fernando Alonso, and yeah, I mean, I read a funny stat on the internet where, on Twitter actually, when someone sent out a tweet that both Carlos and Fernando have driven for the exact same teams in their career. Alonso drove for Minardi, and then he drove for Renault, and then he drove for McLaren, and then he drove for Ferrari. And, well, Carlos drove for Toro Rosso, which was Minardi back in the day, and then he drove for Renault, and then he drove for McLaren, and now he's at Ferrari. So, pretty similar career trajectories from the pair, except Alonso has got 2 world titles and Carlos has 0. But to be fair, Carlos has not had a capable car until, well, I'm sure Ferrari will provide Carlos with a capable car, at least for podiums. I don't think for a championship though. But so yeah, I'm actually quite pleased for Carlos that he's at Ferrari. I don't expect him to be anything other than Charles' wingman though. Ferrari have firmly built their team around Charles, and Carlos is only there just to be the number 2 driver. Just like it was in the Schumacher Barrichello days, where Barrichello had to be the number 2 for Michael. But I'm sure he'll be a safe pair of hands, so good luck to him. And so we've got Carlos in Ferrari. I'm happy it wasn't Antonio Giovinazzi, because some people did suggest him, and I was quite disappointed. I would have been quite disappointed if he was the driver that was going to join Ferrari, because as I said in my last video, he has done absolutely nothing to deserve that seat, and he would be the worst possible choice as far as I'm concerned. But there you go, it's Carlos Sainz that is going to go to Ferrari from 2021 season. I believe he has signed a 2-year deal with the team, and so he'll be Charles' wingman for the next couple of seasons. The Seb is not done yet. He's not done. He's got 1 more year at the Ferrari team, and after that, who knows what will happen. And but yeah, as I was saying, it's going to be an interesting year for Ferrari. Vettel will now have a point to prove. You will want to tell the Ferrari team that they've made the wrong decision and they've sacked the wrong driver. That's what he will want to do. He will definitely want to prove a point to the Ferrari team. I mean, why wouldn't he? You know, because they've essentially booted him out of the team, and in not the most polite way. It just seems like they've just forced him out of the team. Like, just doesn't seem like it was a fair negotiation from what I've seen. But yeah, as I said, I'm happy it's not Giovinazzi, because I do not feel he deserved it. Carlos is a solid performer, one of the best drivers of last season in that McLaren, and he's going to be one to watch, I'm sure. See how he does next season. Will he cope with the Ferrari pressure, or will he crumble? That's the interesting point. But yeah, Vettel, as I said, will want to show that he was the right driver for the team, and Ferrari made the wrong decision by promoting Charles, or rather by offering Charles a 5-year extension, and not really putting any effort in Seb. He'll want to beat Charles to show, look guys, I'm still better than Charles, you should have backed me instead of Charles. And who knows, if he wins the championship and retires, Ferrari will be thinking, what have we done? Okay, he's won a championship for us, but you've thrown him away. Just don't think it was handled in the best way. But anyway, AI are very quick here. Look at that understeer. Just do that, gain a shitload of time. But yeah, so we've got Leclerc with a 5-year extension, and we've got Seb with no Ferrari contract. He's going to be one of the talking points in this discussion that I'm having with you guys in this video. I wish Carlos the best of luck, and I hope the Italians, the Tifosi, are not too harsh on him, because he's a nice lad I'm sure he'll do bits for the boys in Maranello. But I've had my say on Sainz to Ferrari. It's been confirmed now. Finally, we had to wait a while for that. And now we've got the other contender, Daniel Ricciardo, who has replaced Carlos Sainz and will join McLaren from next season, leaving the Renault team. Daniel Ricciardo is my favourite driver. McLaren is my favourite team. So I'm actually quite happy with this. Well, I'm very happy with this choice. My favourite driver is in my favourite team. Dream pairing. And as we know, McLaren next year will be McLaren Mercedes. They will have the Mercedes power unit. I'm sure will be much more reliable than the Renault power unit that they've been running last year. The McLaren was a very fast car, but it was not the most reliable car. The reliability was sketchy. And it's actually quite astonishing that despite the reliability problems, they were still able to score as many points as they did and finish a comfortable 4th in the standings. But that's how it went. And there we go, Daniel Ricciardo. And I think it will be a very good move for him. He's going to be partnering Lando Norris in the 2021 and 2022 seasons, I believe. And he's got a 2-year contract, which is why he's going to be participating in the next 2 seasons. And yeah, he's going to be relieved that he's not in the Renault anymore. Renault is a team that for me is floundering. They do not seem like they have the best management. They don't seem the most organised. They don't seem committed to Formula 1. They seem a bit half-assed about the whole situation. Like, it just seems like they don't really, they're not interested. I don't know. You know, if you want to be a Formula 1 team, you need to have the right attitude, and they don't have the right attitude, as far as I'm concerned. You know, what's his name? Cyril Abiteboul is not the right man to lead the Renault team, in my view, because he's a very toxic individual in that Renault team, and I feel he's the main reason why Renault are not succeeding as they should be. He just seems a bit quick to play the whole blaming other people kind of thing. He just wants to blame other people for his own bad leadership, it seems. And he got very cocky when he got Daniel Ricciardo in his team, but that cockiness was not entirely warranted because, well, he lost Ricciardo after 1 season, and in the Drive to Survive they were saying, oh, we're going to build the team around Danny Rick. That's going to be our star driver, and they've lost him after 1 season. Renault is not the place you want to be. The Renault, to me, seems like a team that's on its way out. I don't know. They don't seem fully committed to Formula 1. They seem like they're half-assing it. And that's not, you know, if you want to be successful in this sport, you have to be fully committed. And Renault just seem lackluster, badly managed, and a bit toxic. Like, I would not want to drive for a team led by Cyril, that's for sure. So I'm happy that Daniel was out of that team, and it seemed like he wanted to get out of that, and he is out of there now. And yeah, looking like he's got a very, very good deal. McLaren look like they're on the way up. The management has improved in the last couple of years. They're going to get Mercedes engines, which are hopefully more reliable. they're going to get, well, they might retain their position as the 4th best team in the sport. Which wouldn't surprise me because they just seem like in a really good place. Like the McLaren team for quite some time, like from I'd say like the early 2010s to 2018, looked like a bit of a mess, poorly managed, a bit disorganized. I feel Zach Brown taking over, Andreas Seidel taking over, has transformed the team. The atmosphere of the team is much better. Fernando Alonso is out of the team, and I feel he was a toxic influence in that team. And I think Daniel is going to be very happy there, personally. I think he's going to be very happy in that McLaren team because he doesn't have Ron Dennis anymore, who would probably try and force Daniel to live a life that Daniel doesn't want to live. He was very famous for that. He instructed drivers to behave in a certain way, and I don't think any of these drivers would have been happy to meet his demands. But well, I guess they obliged purely because they want to keep that McLaren seat. But yeah, Daniel will be very happy in a much more calm and relaxed McLaren environment. The Renault environment felt a bit tense, and I think his personality will flourish in that Renault team. So best wishes to Daniel. I'm sure he'll do a great job. The Renault team probably gutted. So yeah, Ricciardo's made the right move to leave a floundering Renault team that looks a bit unstable and doesn't look fully committed. And Carlos Sainz, well, not like he was leaving a bad team, he was leaving McLaren, which looks very good, but he's got himself a car which is guaranteed to finish on the podium, so he'll definitely increase his podium tally. But yeah, good choices by Ferrari, good of them not to go for Giovinazzi, and good of them to not go for, someone like Hamilton. 2 #1 drivers in the same team is never the best idea, and I'd be very surprised if Ferrari signed Hamilton. Imagine Leclerc and Hamilton in the same team, that would not be the smartest thing. So they've made the right choice as far as I'm concerned. So props to you both. Question now is, what will Vettel do and where would he go? Who is going to take that Renault seat? Now, I think Vettel's going to retire. I've said it before. I think his time in F1 is done. He's definitely not going to accept the Renault seat because I don't think Seb has any interest to drive in the midfield. He's a top tier driver. Why would he downgrade from Ferrari to Renault? Doesn't make any sense to do that. So, as far as I'm concerned, Vettel's on his way out. Now, Vettel fans have begged Mercedes social media. They've been spamming Mercedes social media. Please, can you sign Vettel? Please, we'll be your best fans. I find it quite funny that Vettel fans are begging Mercedes to sign Vettel, when for the last 5 years, Vettel fans have been accusing Mercedes of cheating, saying that they are a shit team, and just trying to drag them down in every way possible. And now they're basically getting on their knees and begging Mercedes to sign their favourite driver. Not a good look, good look, guys. But anyway, Mercedes would have to be off their nuts, or beyond stupid, to sign Vettel. They've got Lewis Hamilton. Why would they have put Sebastian Vettel in that team? Mercedes was part of that whole McLaren 2007 situation. I'm sure they learned a lot from that. They saw when you put 2 #1 drivers in the same team, it goes badly wrong. You're going to get conflict, you're going to get toxicity, you're going to get a very unstable, tense atmosphere in the team. It's just not the right way to go about things. And as I said, Mercedes would have to be beyond stupid to do that. I'd be very surprised if Mercedes signed Vettel. Vettel is not going to get that Mercedes seat. And Renault is not going to get Vettel. Why would Vettel demote himself like that to a lower team? Does it make any sense? He won't do it. Because he's essentially making himself, he's saying to himself, I'm not good enough for a top team anymore. No top team wants me. I'm going to have to put myself in a lower team. It's not a good look. He's not the type to go to a lower team, I don't think. So I see him on the way out and retiring. I'll make a separate video on Sebastian Vettel in particular. This video now is only what is he going to do. Whatever he does, I will make a video on that. This is all speculation at this point. Will he retire or will he go to Mercedes? I've already discussed he's not going to go to Mercedes. Because, as I said, having two #1 drivers in a top team is just a recipe for disaster. You're going to get an unstable team atmosphere. It's not going to be a nice place to work in. They're going to have two drivers squabbling for that first position, and they're going to try and play games with each other, and it's not going to be fun for the team, for the management of the team. So Vettel at Mercedes is just no, it's not going to happen. I know Seb fans want it, it's not going to happen. As for Vettel to Renault, I don't see it. I really don't see it. Like, why would he resign himself to a lower team? He won't do that. As far as Vettel's concerned, it's Mercedes or retirement. That's what he's going to do. Those are his two options. In his mind, I think. That is where he wants to go. Another question. Who is going to take that Renault seat? That is the one thing that has not been announced. Who is going to take that Renault seat? Now, there are a couple of options lined up. I've already spoken about Vettel as the one of the potential options. I don't see him going there. Even Seb fans don't want him to go there. They're all saying, I'd rather Vettel retire than go to Renault. That's how bad it is at the Renault team. That's why I'm really relieved that my favourite driver, Daniel Ricciardo, is no longer there. But yeah, like, it's interesting, the situation unfolding at Renault. Could Renault re-sign Nico Hülkenberg after they ditched him last season? It's a possibility, isn't it? I think Hülkenberg is the best option for me. You know, he's a solid performer. Okay, he's not amazing. He has squandered multiple opportunities to get a podium. But when he's in the groove, he's a solid performer. He gets the job done. And overall, he's a very obedient person. He's not toxic. He's a team player. Is Hülkenberg. So I think he's the person that's going to be in that Renault team. But there have been other suggestions for who's going to take that seat. One of them is Fernando Alonso, and initially I was very skeptical of this. And I still think it probably won't happen, but I feel like that's closer to reality than what was previously thought. Because Alonso has been in talks, it's been reported Alonso has been in talks with the Renault team. And he's been sending some tweets on social media. He's probably trolling. He's probably not going to go to Renault, he's probably trolling. But I'm just saying it's a possibility, that's all I'm saying. It's a possibility, he might go. But yeah, Alonso to Renault doesn't really make too much sense, because Alonso is the kind of driver who wants to drive a top tier car. He doesn't want to drive a midfield car, and all Renault can really make is a midfield car. Like, I don't see him going to Renault simply because they don't have a winning car. Alonso, to me, only wants to drive. I mean, he's 38, almost 39 years old. He's not got any time to build up a team. He has to go straight into a top seat, and he's not going to get one because, you know, Mercedes has got Hamilton, Ferrari's got Charles Leclerc, and Red Bull has got Max Verstappen. Fernando is not going to get a top team seat, so I don't see him at Renault because, you know, the only reason I can think of for Alonso to go to Renault is if he's just really bored and misses F1 so much that he'll drive anything, which, you know, might be a possibility. But I just think, what is he going to gain out of going to Renault? Nothing. It's the same story with Vettel. What was he going to gain out of staying at Ferrari? He's probably going to get beaten by Charles Leclerc again. There was no incentive for Alonso to go to Renault, and there's no incentive for Vettel to stay at Ferrari because he's going to get beaten by Leclerc again, and Ferrari's going to make Vettel their number 2 driver. So there you go. So that's the question. Those are the 2 questions we face. Vettel has left the team. That is official. Carlos Sainz has gone to McLaren. That is no. So Carlos Sainz has gone to Ferrari. That is official. Daniel Ricciardo has gone to McLaren Mercedes. That is official. But who is going to take that Renault seat? And what will Vettel do? Vettel for me is going to retire. My prediction for the Renault seat is Nico Hülkenberg, because he's the safe option. He's a safe pair of hands. I think, you know, Esteban Ocon is the other driver in that Renault team. Do you think Renault are going to now build the team around Esteban, French driver in the French team? Makes sense. Hülkenberg could be the wingman. Anyway, I've had my discussion now. I'm happy with the news. Happy for Carlos. Good luck at Ferrari. And in terms of Daniel Ricciardo, my favourite team, my favourite driver in my favourite team, that is a fantastic combination. Happy about that for sure. Anyway, let's just try and enjoy Old Silverstone. It's been very difficult, you can probably tell, me talking and driving at the same time. It is very hard. But yeah, Old Silverstone for me, one of my favourite tracks to drive. Probably in my top 3 actually. Just keep losing time in the last sector. That was a good pair of corners. There is a lot of understeer in this car, it has to be said. Really had to turn the car there. I've improved. Let's go for one more lap. I've discussed the news. I'm happy. Cannot wait to see Ricciardo in that McLaren Mercedes. Can't wait to see McLaren Mercedes. That is a childhood favourite of mine. Back in the Vodafone days. Interesting to see what livery they'll go with. Will they go with potentially orange and silver? Seems to be the rumours going around. That would be a decent combination, I think. But yeah, I miss this section in particular. So that's it. It's Carlos Sainz has been confirmed at Ferrari. Daniel Ricciardo has been confirmed at McLaren. Daniel will be very relieved to leave the Renault team. Carlos will be happy to go to Ferrari. Maybe, would he want to be a number 2 driver? I think he will be compliant, but I don't think he'll want to be. But I think he'll have no choice. He's not going to beat Charles Leclerc, who's incredibly talented. Ricciardo escaped the Renault prison cell. And the question now is, who's going to fill the Renault seat and what will Sebastian Vettel do? As I've said, my prediction is Vettel for retirement. Hulkenberg will take the Renault seat. If Alonso goes there, I'll welcome it. I'll be happy because I'm all for a bit of Alonso chaos, Alonso team radio banter. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things unfold. But until then, I'll make a video about that, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see Alonso in that Renault, but it probably will be Hulkenberg. But until next time, I'll see you later for the news that awaits us. All eyes are on Renault and Sebastian Vettel.